Please introduce yourself and you may proceed.
Hi, Rob DeBeer from Corona Development. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you for having us here. I'm here tonight to present the project that's before you, and shortly will be up on the screen, which is a change in use for a development, mixed-use development down on the south side of East 3rd Street. This building on the 600 block of East 3rd Street was originally part of an application approved by this board back in 2015. It is what we essentially consider a sister building to the 510 Flats mixed-use building currently down on the south side. When this building first came before the board in 2015, it was approved for a mixed use. That use was street level retail with 3 stories of office space above. We are here today and seeking a change in use in that we're now proposing to replace the 3 floors of office space with 4 floors of apartments, again, similar to what was both proposed, constructed, and now occupied down in the 510 Flats building. Really kind of here, mostly because this is sort of a reaction to the success we've had at the 510 Flats building. As many of you know, that was one of the early sort of new construction developments down on the south side. We had some kind of early pioneering efforts in putting new residential down there, but really saw some very significant demand, a lot of interest, and with being open now for 18 months and the building being fully occupied, a lot of success. And so this is somewhat of a reaction to increase sort of the growth and rebirth of this side, which is this section of South Bethlehem, and that's why we're proposing to do residential units within this building. We have a couple of waivers that we're seeking before the board, which we can get into detail. Paul Lupper, our engineer, is here and can explain them. I'm going to give a brief overview. One is a reduction in the minimum lot size per dwelling unit. We are seeking a reduction because we are looking to maximize the density that would be afforded to us on the lots we have down here at the south side. In addition to that, we are seeking a reduction in the required number of off-street parking spaces. Again, we can get into further detail sort of in why we're seeking to do that. And then lastly, I think our waiver request for not providing an off-street loading space. Again, the intent here is to create new on-street metered parking down on 3rd Street. I think we have the addition of 61 spaces on one of those boards, and that would include an off-street loading space, much like we did at the 510 Flats building, which is how virtually all of the food service users down at 510 are serviced. I can introduce Paul for maybe a little more detail on the waiver requests, and then I'd be happy to answer some questions.
Thank you. Give us your name, please, for the record.
Certainly. Good afternoon. Name is Paul Leppard, L-E-P-A-R-D. I'm a principal with the engineering firm of Nate Newell in Wayne, Pennsylvania. The applicant is respectfully requesting 4 waivers from the city code with respect to the revised land development plan that has been presented to the staff and planning commission. The first, as Rob mentioned, is a reduction in the required square footage area for a residential unit. The city code requires a minimum of 1,200 square feet per unit based on the tract area and the proposed density, which is 169 total apartment units on both lots A and B of the property. We're respectfully requesting a minimum lot area of 734 square feet. That is the first waiver, which is being sought this afternoon. With respect to parking, there is a twofold request with respect to parking for both the residential component and the retail component. With respect to the multifamily, the applicant is respectfully requesting a waiver to provide 186 off-street parking spaces and a series of proposed off-street parking lots behind building A and B, the Polk Street garage, as well as the Evans Street parking lot, which is on the south side of the Greenway. Cumulatively, the applicant is providing convenient off-street parking totaling 186 off-street residential spaces for a total of 1.1 parking spaces per unit, where 1.75 is otherwise required. With respect to the retail business and the retail use, the applicant similarly is requesting a waiver from providing the required minimum off-street parking of 181 parking spaces, which are based upon the gross retail space of the floor area. We have exhibits which we'll be happy to walk through where the net or the leasable square footage is significantly less than that. And we're requesting to allow 460 on-street metered parking spaces along 3rd Street in conjunction with 9 that had been previously proposed as part of Building A, an additional 51 metered parking spaces on both the north and south side of 3rd Street to provide, again, 60 on-street parking spaces in lieu of the otherwise 181 parking spaces that are otherwise required. We recognize that there's opportunities for off-street parking spaces in the Oak Street garage and are recognizing that that is a parking opportunity which is convenient to the retail facilities. The last waiver is relatively modest in respect to the required loading. Based on the operations that Rob has experienced with Building A, they realized that the loading facility that is presently exists behind Building A is underutilized, and deliveries want to occur on 3rd Street. So in lieu of the required off-street loading space that's otherwise required by the city code, the applicant is respectfully requesting that a on-street 35-foot by 9 space be provided on the northwest corner of Lot B to provide the requisite loading. They are the waivers that are being sought. From a land planning and land use perspective, would seem to be consistent with the urban context of the proposed development with respect to the apartment living, accessibility to public transit, the recognition that there will be both an exchange of residents that will be patrons of both the retail spaces, and there's again some reduction of parking as a result of that. Robert, I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to add.
Sure. And again, happy to answer questions, but we are receiving the seller's February 7th, 2020 letter. We will be complying with all of the review comments that are on here. I think there are just a couple that I'd like to point out, specifically in the public works and traffic. If we haven't provided so already, we did do sort of a revised calc based upon the change in use. Going from an office use to the residential use actually had a net reduction in the vehicular trips to and fro. So the traffic study that was commissioned, although again somewhat old from the original project, would have a reduction in that value. And secondly, would be providing for the review of the city traffic staff what that sort of intersection upgrade would look like on Founders and 3rd to accommodate the new proposed parking pattern we put into place. As Paul said, as part of the Building A 510 flats, we use the term somewhat interchangeably. We did add 9 metered spaces plus an off-street loading space onto 3rd Street. Being down in that building on a daily basis, I can tell you those spaces are used often. They turn over quickly. They've been a good addition to the building. In addition to those 9 that were already installed with the construction of this building here, 610 flats, an additional 51 on-street metered parking spaces will be installed at our expense. That will become obviously a benefit to the parking authority. When looking at this project in a whole, we look to the reason why we're seeking some of the variances for parking, the waiver relief for parking is trying to make the accommodations for off-street parking for the residents, but also kind of focusing or forcing retail parking to use either the on-street pay amenities or what's going to the upholstery pay garage. In conversation with the parking authority, that was warmly welcomed, that there would be sort of additional transient parkers that would help obviously the financial situation of the parking authority by offsetting some of the costs associated with the construction of it. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions, but maybe I'll start quickly with a couple of comments about 510, again, why we are so bullish on doing more residential down here. 510 flats is 95 apartments, fully leased. It took us just about 6 months to fully occupy all the buildings, all the units from when they were delivered. We have a waiting list over 20 people long Our units don't turn often. I think the industry average is about 52% of units turn during the course of the year. 52% of folks renew their leases on an annual basis. We saw 72% renewal rate. But also, we don't vacate for a very long time. Typically, our cycle is if a tenant does choose to move out, and they leave on a Friday, we clean on a Saturday, and the new tenant moves in on a Sunday. So the demand has been very good. We're seeing a big demand for two-bedroom units. We have fewer two-bedroom units in the first building than we propose in the second. A lot of that is our tenant profile is a nice balance of young professionals and empty nesters. And what we're finding is that the empty nester crowd is prepared to downsize. They're prepared to sell their home and move into this type of a lifestyle situation, but just not fully ready to condense into a one-bedroom unit. So they're really seeking out the two-bedroom opportunities. Again, we're excited for this new project to come up, and with that, I'd be happy to take any questions.